Ever get that feeling like some problems in therapy are just kind of stuck? Like there's this category of tough issues, and some things just never quite budge.
It's easy to feel that way for sure.
Well, today we're diving into something fascinating, something that flips that script, conversational hypnosis. And before anyone pictures a swinging pocket watch, think more about the power of words and how our minds really work, you know?
Yeah, what's fascinating is how we often limit our view of hypnosis to these very formal, almost staged settings.
Right. Like it only happens in a therapist office.
Exactly. But the reality is, it's more woven into our everyday lives than we realize.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. Unpack that a bit.
So think about it. Have you ever gotten so engrossed in a movie that you totally lose track of time? Or find yourself driving home, like, on autopilot minds miles away?
Oh, absolutely. Especially the driving one's scary how often that happens. But wait, are you saying that's hypnosis?
Well, according to Virginie Eymere, a real leading voice in conversational hypnosis, these everyday experiences, they actually share some surprising similarities with hypnotic states.
Now that's interesting. See, we often hear hypnosis requires this deep relaxation, almost like a trance.
Right, that's the image most people have.
But Imir's challenging that.
Exactly. She argues that getting so focused on achieving that deep relaxation can actually distract from the real work, the therapy itself.
I see. So it's less about forcing ourselves into that super relaxed state.
Right? It's not the main goal. Instead, conversational hypnosis recognizes that states like being totally absorbed in a movie or even zoning out while driving, they show our natural capacity for focus and for being open to suggestions, which are, key elements of hypnosis.
So instead of trying to force a specific state, it's more about tapping into these natural moments, these states of mind that we all experience. Huh. That's a really different way of thinking about it.
And that's what makes Eimer's approach so intriguing. She's all about prioritizing the therapy itself, the actual issues at hand, over getting bogged down in elaborate hypnotic techniques.
Yeah, I can see where that could be huge for people. I mean, I'll be honest, I always imagine hypnotherapy involving a lot of time spent on inductions, metaphors, almost like a whole big production.
Yeah, you're right. Those techniques have their place in traditional hypnotherapy for sure. But Eimer argues that by spending less time on those formal procedures, conversational hypnosis frees up more time to focus on the client's actual concerns and what they're going through.
So it's less about the show of hypnosis and more about getting to the heart of the matter, the real issues.
Exactly. With conversational hypnosis, hypnosis becomes almost like a natural part of the conversation. It's about using that natural flow of dialogue to guide the client towards a deeper understanding of themselves and the challenges they're facing.
Okay, so we're shifting away from this idea of how deep of a trance can we reach, and instead it's about the therapeutic journey itself, the process of uncovering what's going on.
Exactly. It's about the journey, not just the destination.
I like that. It feels much more approachable, like less pressure to perform a certain way.
And that can make a world of difference for people who are maybe a bit hesitant about traditional hypnosis.
This is really making me rethink my whole view of hypnosis, If it's not about reaching this deep trance state, can it still be effective for those really, entrenched problems? The ones people almost assume are impossible to change?
Yeah, that's where Eimer's perspective gets super interesting. She actually challenges that whole notion, the idea that certain problems are inherently tougher than others.
Okay, because I feel like there are some issues, like smoking cessation, for example, that often get put in that too hard basket.
You're absolutely right. Things like smoking cessation, chronic pain, or long-standing anxiety, they often get seen as these massive hurdles in therapy.
Right, like almost impossible to overcome.
Exactly. But what Eimer argues is it's not that the symptom itself, like the smoking, for example, is inherently more difficult to address.
So it's not that quitting smoking is fundamentally harder than, say, procrastinating less. It's more about how we're approaching it.
Exactly. It's about how we're framing the problem.
Okay, I'm following you.
Think of it this way: you see a fire, right? If you only focus on dousing the flames, you're missing a crucial part. What started it in the first place? Was it faulty wiring? Was it like a stray ember? Until you address that root cause, that fire is just going to keep coming back.
That's a great analogy. So how does conversational hypnosis help us find that source, that root cause of the fire, instead of just battling the flames over and over?
Well, Eimer's approach suggests that all presenting problems, whether it's smoking, insomnia, relationship issues, they're basically symptoms of something deeper going on.
It's like that saying, treat the cause, not the symptom.
Mm.
Like, you might manage to stop smoking for a while, but if the underlying stress or like that habit loop isn't addressed, it's so easy to slip back into old patterns.
Exactly. It's about getting to the root of it. Conversational hypnosis, it encourages therapists to help clients explore those deeper reasons, those underlying motivations behind their behaviors.
So it's less about like dictating solutions and more about guiding a process of self-discovery, right?
Absolutely. It's about empowering the client to be an active participant in their own healing, their own journey.
That makes a lot of sense.
Eymere talks about a client who came to her for help with insomnia. And instead of jumping right into relaxation techniques, she used conversational hypnosis to uncover this deep-seated fear of failure that was keeping him up at night.
Wow, really? And by addressing that fear, were they able to get to the root of the insomnia as well?
Exactly. It's amazing how these things connect.
Yeah.
Once he was able to process and reframe that fear, the insomnia, it just started to improve naturally. It's like those answers were already within him all along, just waiting to be uncovered.
That's remarkable. It really highlights the interconnectedness of our thoughts, our emotions, and even our physical experiences. That's incredible. It really highlights that idea that sometimes the answers are already within us.
It's true, and it speaks to the power of conversational hypnosis. It's not about the therapist imposing solutions.
It's more about guiding the client to discover those solutions for themselves.
Exactly, and that's something Eymere emphasizes a lot, that this potential for change, it's not something external that we need to, like, acquire or force.
Right. It's not about becoming a different person.
It's more about tapping into what's already there, those inner resources and strengths.
I love that. It's a much more hopeful outlook than just labeling some problems as unfixable,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's what I find so powerful about this approach. It offers this real sense of possibility, even for those deep-seated issues that people have maybe struggled with for years.
So it's not about saying, okay, this problem is just part of who you are. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right. It's more like, let's explore this, let's understand where it comes from, and see if we can shift those underlying patterns.
And that exploration itself can be incredibly empowering, right?
Absolutely, because it gives the client agency. It puts them in the driver's seat of their own healing process.
Yeah, I can see that. It takes away that feeling of being powerless or stuck.
Exactly. And that's what I find so exciting about conversational hypnosis. It's not about mind control or forcing ourselves to be different.
It's more about gently guiding our minds toward greater understanding and self-awareness.
And through that understanding, we can start to create real, lasting change.
It's like we're not just treating symptoms anymore, we're addressing the root causes, the underlying patterns that are keeping us stuck.
And when we do that, amazing things can happen.
It's like finding a hidden doorway within ourselves, leading to a whole new level of understanding and potential.
Exactly. And who knows what we might discover on the other side.
Well, Eimer's work has certainly given us a lot to think about today, that's for sure.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have this incredible capacity for healing and transformation within us.
And that sometimes all it takes is a little guidance and a willingness to explore to unlock that potential.
Absolutely. And those conversations, those explorations, they can be truly transformative.
Well said. It's been a fascinating deep dive into conversational hypnosis. Until next time, everyone.